What's going on, 49er Faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This is your boy, Niner Gang Podcast, back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. We have a new defensive coordinator in the house. We got a new DC in the crib, and I am excited about it. I am definitely very happy about this, man. Um, I know a lot of people were discussing who could be our defensive coordinator. A good chunk of us, including me, we wanted Jim Schwartz from the Cleveland Browns, but right now Jim Schwartz still has 2 years left on his contract. He was not very happy that that the Cleveland Browns went ahead and hired Todd Monken as the next head coach. He was, definitely not a happy camper about that. But when the coach has several years still left on his still has several years left on his contract, and you got to trade for him and stuff like that. Like, there's a variety of things that could come into play. So here's the beauty of it. I would have loved Schwartz because Schwartz owns Kyle, and he would force Kyle to be able to try to evolve and figure out how to do things better. You know what I mean? Oh, you. That's crazy, B-Dubs. That is, man. If you want in, man, if you're actually able to like sit down and you're not working, let me know. But Jim Schwartz, like I said, would have forced Kyle to be able to evolve and try to understand how to do things a little bit better, along with the fact of us just understanding what we have in our defensive system now. Like, you know what I mean? We have a couple of good pieces. We got some pieces walking away. So let's talk about the pieces walking away from this defense before we get into Raheem Morris and all of the things that he can bring to it. So just going to share the screen real quick. And this is from Spot Rack. So there you go. You come out with the numbers and figures and stuff like that. I still don't understand how Yetur Gross Matos is worth anything when he spent 90% of his time on the sidelines, but it is what it is. But I think these are averaged out values of based on what this player would get on the open market, based off of their production and things of that nature. So the first one is Yetur Gross Matos. Me personally, I am more than happy to move on from him. I do not care if he is here or if he's not. Gross Matos to me has been, one of those people. He's just a disappointment because he consistently is not available. And that's my biggest issue with him. He's just not available. And that's what bothers me about him a little bit, is that's the issue where he comes into play. I don't want him not available. I need him on the field to be able to produce for us and do whatever we needed to do, as far as that's going. So as far as the next person on the list, this is a guy that we need desperately. And the reason I say desperately is because what people don't understand is when you have certain situations, you got to pay attention to what they are and look at them for what they are going to become. We have a really, really thin wide receiver room. I mean, massively thin. And right now, our leading receiver is Juwan Jennings. So I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to pay Juwan that kind of money. He's not a number one. He's this, he's that. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, y'all see the numbers. If you can't, I'll tell you what the numbers are. It is 22.614 million. That's basically what it is. So they're saying that Juwan Jennings on the open market should fetch no less than $22 million. That's what they're saying. And that's what he would get. And somebody might pay him more. So the issue that we're facing is we're very thin at receiver. We do not have anybody bona fide, certified, or anything outside of Juwan Jennings, literally. There's not another receiver you can name on this team that is better than him. And that tells me that, unfortunately, this is probably something that we neglected for a very long time, did not pay attention to, and should have paid attention to, and should have addressed. But I digress. So when it comes to that, the issue is, like I said, when it comes to JJ's going to want money. and rightfully so. He's earned every penny that he would be asking for. I know a lot of people don't feel that way because he gets hurt or he's sometime or he's this or he's that. I don't care what you think about Juwan Jennings. At the end of the day, that man has earned every dime that he that he is about to walk in this door and ask for. And I can't really be too pissed off at him because hey, you got to feed your family, you got to do the things that you need to do, and you got to, what I'm saying, think about yourself and what you gonna bring to your family and bring home. And that's all I'm saying. So at the end of the day, a lot of people have said Juwan to Tennessee because he played for the Vols. He's like a little local hero there, and that'd be great for him. He'd be able to go home because if you get Juwan over there, Tennessee has, I think, the third most cap space in the league right now. I think they're 81 million or something crazy like that. So third most cap space. You go there, they're gonna break you off. They're most likely gonna make you the number one, and then they'll move their other guys around to make it fit whatever it is, and it gives Cam Ward a viable receiver to throw to. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can happen, and whenever you become a free agent on the market, especially at a position where it's very, very the premium is really high, yeah, you definitely got to pay up. You're going to have to pay up. And I'm sorry, the Niners are not going to be able to be cheap and go ahead and sustain having Juwan Jennings there. But when you come and you take a look at it, the next guy that comes up on the list, so Jennings, you definitely got to keep. Jordan Elliott, he could walk out the door, but that's not a big deal. You know what I mean? They're saying he could fetch just a little under $2 million. Not a big deal. Spencer Burford, unrestricted free agent. So he could walk out the door. That means we don't have a left guard. And I definitely hope they ain't relying on Ben Barch because he spend same thing. He spend more time on the bench than he do on the field. He about as bad as Gross Matos. They may let Spencer Burford walk. Jason Pinnock, don't really care that he leaves. We got Kevin Givens. He's been injured the last couple of years. I don't care. Luke Gifford, special teams ace. If you want him around, give him a little cheap deal. Kendrick Bourne. If you let Juwan Jennings walk, that's your next best thing on the roster. But he's an unrestricted free agent. And like I said, based off of the tenure in the league, you got to remember that it's tenure in the league. He would fetch, no less than that. Looks like about $3.4 million yearly. And right after him, you got Sky Moore. Sky Moore was doing really good for us as a returner, so that's perfectly fine. He is only 25. We could go ahead and re-sign Sky Moore to a nice little deal to be able to keep him as our return guy, unless they decided that they now believe in Junior Bergen and he's the guy and he'll be fine. We'll see how that works out. The other thing as well is we have next guy up is just our long snapper, John Weeks, but you can do that. You can sign him. Ben Barch can get the hell out of here. Brian Robinson, my suggestion to you is go where you will be utilized and appreciated because this ain't the place. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but that's what I would do. Punter Thomas Morstead, I say re-sign Weeks and Morstead. Let him stay. You know what I mean? Morstead didn't do too bad. He's all right. And the thing about punters and long snappers, they can be old because they only got one job. They only have shit else they got to do. We got Matt Hennessy possibly walking out the door. If they don't sign Linderbaum like everybody is stating that we will, I would say keep Matt Hennessy, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a backup center because obviously you ain't getting much better than Hennessy or Jake Brendel. You got Curtis Robinson. I really don't care if Curtis Robinson leaves. That's not a big deal. You got Cleveland Farrell. Cleveland Farrell, I would say you probably want to keep. Get him. You get him on the low. You get him on the under. He's 28, so he'll be. I think he's about 29 this year. So, hell, give him a little 2-year deal. And there you go. Trent Taylor could walk. Don't care. Eddie Pinheiro, you better re-sign him because you need a kicker, and he was solid for us this year. Patrick Taylor don't care. Taryn Jackson don't care. Garrett Wallow don't care. I think Chase Lucas would be a good addition along with the addition of Raheem Morris. So you want to keep him in the fold, so to speak. I would say that. Robert Bill Jr., you can walk. Sammy Okwanu, I want to keep him. The reason being is because if we're going to start, flipping this into a 3-4, I want that guy there. And he is a restricted free agent, so that would be great. I would love that. And same thing for Chase Lucas. I would love for him to be able to stay hanging out with us. Jake Tonjes. I mean, I know he wound up getting injured, but we don't know when Kittle's going to be back. He's going to be the next best thing unless they decide to draft a tight end that will be able to take his place. Austin Pleasance, I'm 50-50. You keep him or you don't. Kalia Davis, he came on a little bit stronger and he's been looking a little bit better now that he was able to string together somewhat of a healthy year. But I'm not opposed to letting him walk or letting him stay. He is a restricted free agent. Eric Kendricks is an unrestricted free agent, but I want him back because of this 3-4 defense that we're about to get into. So those are the guys that we got walking out the door. From the defensive standpoint, honestly, when I'm looking at it, the only people I would really want to hang around defensively anyway would be Cleveland Farrell, Sammy O, and Eric Kendricks. Everybody else can pretty much, and Chase Lucas as well. Just because I like what Lucas does as a defensive back, and I think he'd be great under the tutelage of a Raheem Morris. So I think those 4 dudes we would want to keep just to be able to make sure that we're doing it right and we got the scheme going properly. You know what I mean? I think that actually works out well for all of us. What's going on, media? So when it comes to Raheem Morris, man, like it's a different world. So Raheem Morris is a new DC in Santa Clara, and I couldn't be more excited. Let me tell you why. This means we can change up the style of defense we run. It's so old and outdated. We've been figured out by the league on offense and defense. We got beat by Seattle running our offensive scheme better than we did. The only reason that Morris is here is because Saleh took the head coaching position with the Titans. Otherwise, he would still be here. But this does mean change from the 4-3 to 8-3-4. Now, those are two totally different worlds, 2 different fronts, and a whole lot of personnel changes possibly. Now, the last time we ran the 3-4 was mainly when we had Harbaugh and Vic Fangio was DC, and it worked to perfection. Now, the issue that we have is to find the pieces to the puzzle. We already have all-pro Fred as a Mike linebacker. We have to find a Mike opposite of Fred and 2 guys as the outside linebackers to rush the passer and defend well against the pass. I believe we have at least 2 Mikes. If you re-sign Kendricks and pair him with Warner, problem solved. Now, I know a lot of people are down on D Winters, but I think he might be okay to 3-4. I'm not sure about Tatum Bethune, but I do like Nick Martin possibly as the other side. So, you know what I mean? Manning the other side as the outside linebacker. This might work out. The key to the 3-4 is to have a nasty nose tackle, I believe, if we start CJ West and rotate him with Alfred Collins. We're set there already. We have Bosa as our DN. I'm still saying we go get Crosby from the Raiders. I will continue to bang the table for that. That's not going to stop. I really think that you put Crosby opposite Bosa and you throw CJ West in there as the big bowling ball of a nose tackle, man. Like you gotta love every second of it, bro. Like you really do. You'll look up and next thing you know, it would be straight insane what you would see as far as the labeled production from these guys. I think if you really put that out there, just hear me out, people, and listen to what I'm saying and tell me what you think as well in the comments. Put it like this. Your edges are Bosa and Crosby. So you got Crosby here, Bosa here. You throw CJ West in the middle and rotate him with Nick Collins. Okay, rotate him. Not Nick, Alfred Collins. I apologize. Rotate him with Alfred Collins. That way he gets spelled. Make sure they both know and understand what a nose tackle is supposed to be. One of the best nose tackles in the world is Vita Vea. It's a big boy. It's hard to move. Nose tackles have to eat up 2 people. And I think that Collins and West can do that. Both. So you'll rotate them. You keep them fresh. As far as the edges, if you start off with Bosa and you start off with Crosby, that's a perfect edge setter. And then as far as the outer guys with that, the 4, because the 3-4 is just your 2 DNs and a nose. And then you got your left and right outside linebackers and your 2 Mikes. And I think honestly, Kendricks and Warner in the middle, you put them 2 together, beautiful tandem. And I think if you start D Ford here, D Ford, oh God, I don't know why I said it. D Winters here, and you put Nick Martin here, and let those 2 young men go. I think we're gonna have some fun. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's either that or you go get a wily vet to play either one of the outside linebacker positions. And you got to find the depth, obviously, to be able to have there. I think Bethune would still be good as a depth piece when it comes to being a Mike, but we have to find some other guys as far as linebackers that'll be able to help us out, backing up Nick Martin and D Winters, if that were, of course, the case. These are all hypotheticals. I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just giving you, based off of the people on the team currently, who could do what and where would they fit. And this is just my assumption, my assessment of such when it comes down to it. And then, I mean, look at what we just, what I just presented and tell me you can't think how this works. When I looked up what Raheem Morris does, it says he runs a 3-4 and a 5-2 with aggressive blitzing and soft zone coverage, which I like. The other thing as well is he's great with interceptions and focusing on that. Y'all know DB is my favorite position in football, and I love a ball hawking corner. Double digits interception every year. He was the defensive coordinator. He started as a head coach in Tampa Bay from 2009 to 2011. Then was DC for Atlanta, made interim head coach, and then from 2021 to 2024, he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams and took the head coaching job in 2024. Now is our defensive coordinator. So when you take a look at the 3-4 scheme, if you want to know what it looks like and how it runs, you can look at us from the past when we had Vic Fangio. You can look at Vic Fangio now, wherever he's landed, whether it had been the Broncos, I think it was the Bears for a little bit, and now he's with the Eagles. So you could take a look at his scheme and see how well he runs it. It's a well-oiled machine. 3-4 is great, and a 5-2 is even better, because that means I got 5 defensive linemen, and I'm just putting 2 mics out there, you know what I'm saying, and I got 2 DBs, and I got my safeties, and I think that's going to work very well. You know what I mean? My two mics out there are going to be my cover type guys, because if I'm running a 5-2, the guys up front are responsible for the run, and everybody on the back end is responsible for the pass. So I think honestly, you could do that. You could make that work. You just got to keep the depth that you already have, and boom, you're already set. So I think this will work out very well. I think we're going to have some great situations that we can get into when it comes down to having Raheem Morris as the defensive coordinator. I don't see this as a negative thing. I see it as a positive thing. It's great. As far as he getting himself another job, Kyle getting a defensive coordinator is going to switch things up, because once again, our defense is just stale. It's stale. And I know a lot of people were wondering who we would hire. And the other person in the mix was obviously Gus Bradley. But the thing is, Gus Bradley runs the exact same defense Robert Saleh was, running. And he's one of the people that kind of helped create the defense, with the Legion of Boom and all that and everything like that. So if we would have kept Gus Bradley, then Gus Bradley there wouldn't have been a real transition. There wouldn't have been a real change in the building as far as how the defense is run. It would have been more of the same. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been more of the, hey, front four gets home, everybody else, sits back in zone and lets them pick us apart in the soft spots. And we can't keep doing that. We've got to evolve. We've got to get better. And I think this will force Kyle to evolve and get better as well, going against a front that he doesn't necessarily do too well against when it comes to that. I mean, when I look at Raheem Morris, I think – he's a fantastic defensive coordinator. What I'm saying, he's doing okay as the head coach. He ain't necessarily the best when it comes down to being a head coach and whatnot. So his head coaching career, unfortunately, he's 39 and 57. Or let me see here. I apologize. He is, where is his record as a head coach? Because I'm trying to see like wins and losses, but it's not showing me. Okay. Either way, he had his tenure as a head coach, had his tenure as a DC, and I think things are going to be, better for him. I think we're going to be good. Kyle and Raheem are familiar with each other. Oddly enough, it's hard to name a coach in this league who Kyle doesn't know, and I say that just because of how long he's been in the game. I feel like, it's a great addition to the team. I believe the players will be happy with this decision to this This will open up Fred Warner and coverage and blitzing more than ever. Just wait. I can't believe, I believe we either get a pass rushing outside linebacker in free agency or stick with what we have here. I also believe that under Morse, we will see a new edge in, Lenore, Green, and Stout. Now, remember, we did have Leonard Floyd every now, with us as a pass rush specialist, and he may wind up still being such, if he comes back. I know he didn't really play a lot last year. I think he only played 5 games. He only had 1 sack, but you got to look at who fits the scheme, what they can do, how they can do it, how well they can do it, and if we can make this work. And that's the key to this. We want to be able to bring in guys that are going to fit the scheme and be able to help us win games. And I think that right now we've got a fairly solid nucleus to be able to start, on the 3-4. But we do have to get that other edge rusher opposite Bosa. We can't. I know that Michael Williams will be back, but coming off an ACL, a guy that big, it's going to be a lot. He's not going to just walk in and be ready from day one of training camp. I don't think we see Michael Williams until probably about maybe week 4, maximum. I know Bosa is quicker with that, but that's just Bosa. I don't know how he winds up recovering from these ACL injuries faster than anybody known the man, but he seems to find a way to get back at it. And then when he gets on the field, it just works out. But one thing that we're going to have an issue with is we will need them in, at a bare minimum, they're going to have to be in the building because they're going to have to learn the scheme. They're going to have to know and understand what their place is. They're going to have to know what their jobs are on each play that we call. All those things have to come into play. So we're definitely going to have to kind of coach them up to get things rolling in the right direction. And I think we've got some solid pieces, but we just got to keep getting more. We got to do really good in the draft this year. We cannot fumble draft picks because at the number one thing we have to do is if we don't get a left guard in free agency, we at least better get one in the first round. If we don't trade that pick for a marquee player, i.e. a Justin Jefferson to have a number 1 receiver, or a Max Crosby to have another edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, and then trying to rework his contract to make sure that it fits what we got. The plus for the NFL is the salary cap. They have come out and stated the salary cap is going to be 301 to 304 million, in that range, which is a nice little increase. So that means you got a little more cap space, a little more wiggle room and things of that nature. And let me check to see what we have as far as cap space coming up this year, so we can see what we can actually do. Let me see here. So our cap space, whoa, okay. So, all right. So Nick Bosa did us a bit of a solid. I guess they had so we started out with $8,491,953. And then it says, additionally, they will receive $7 million in salary cap space due to an insurance policy related to Nick Bosa's contract, bringing their total cap to $15,000. So we're just literally at 15 million $5. And then I go and look at spot rack, and it's definitely a little bit higher. So our total cap space is going to be 15th in the league with $25,538,414. Our dead cap space is going to be $21,863,740. So that's the crappy part about it. Every now and then you got dead cap that you got to give. Are you serious? Bro, I got to share this with y'all. This is insane. Our dead cap is ugly because we are paying too many damn people. And I don't understand how the hell that worked out, but it did. So unfortunately, our dead cap are still paying Javon Hargrave. He still gets $16 million out of this. That's insanity. Malik Collins is still getting broke off. George Odom is still being paid. We're still paying the worthless Jake Moody. I don't understand that. Junior Bergen is on the team, so I don't know how that's dead cap unless we cut him and I didn't pay attention enough. I mean, Robert Beal, that is what it is. Like anything under, 100K is cool, but to be paying Collins and Hargrave still, that to me is crap. And I have no idea how the hell we paid Georgia Odom anything over $1 million. That man don't need nothing. Hey, what's going on, my guy? But I am very happy that Raheem Morris is here. Once again, I will beat this in every 49ers mind. I will say this over and over again. He is good for us because it forces Kyle to evolve. It forces him to see a defense that he doesn't normally see all the time, and it makes him change. He has to. What people don't understand is this is Kyle's last year under contract. And I'll be good and gosh darn if Jed York gives that man another contract if he doesn't produce another solid year. What he did with this team last year was nothing short of amazing. I will constantly remind you guys, we had other years like this. He did not pull these types of stunts off. So there's him doing this one time. Let's not make it seem like Kyle Shanahan is the greatest coach known to man, because he's not. You know what I'm saying? Once again, if he can come back, give another solid year, get himself back into the playoffs and actually make a push, get back to that NFC Championship game at a minimum, I believe that's when Jed York looks and goes, okay, we got to do this. I've been on record stating that I don't feel that the Yorks are about winning. I feel they're about money, because I don't see them doing the things that Eddie D did when he was here to make sure that this team wins, to make sure that this team is a proper contender, and to say as well, hey, man, you ain't getting the job done. You got to get up out of here. Remember, Eddie D parted ways with Bill Walsh, who is highly regarded as, number one, the creator of the West Coast offense, number two, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, and number three, in the 80s, there was no other team better than this team right here, period. Our winning percentage was far and above anyone else. Literally from the 80 to 90, we killed. Like, we literally dominated that era. That decade was ours. Now, mind you, of course, we didn't win all the Super Bowls or pull off a feat like the Bulls did, almost winning every championship, in a decade. But we definitely, I believe we won 3 or 4 in the 80s. And, you know what I'm saying, we had all pros. We had head coach. Roger Craig was the first 1,000 guy. Like, we set records. We did amazing things. But when it comes down to it, this regime that we currently have, number one thing that I want y'all to focus on, we have a lot of holes and we got to fill them. And it's hard because you can't fill every hole, when it comes down to it. But what you have to think about it in this manner is, I've got to do what I can with what I've got, but I also want my ownership to be on board and to be thinking, what can I do to make this team better? Where are they missing things? What am I seeing as an owner, just sitting back watching the game, even from a fan standpoint, to be able to walk in a room with these coaches and these guys that I hired, that know football, that have done it, that perform on that professional level where I don't. But I turn around and look at them and go, hey, guys, look, I know I may not be, some football aficionado, but I'm seeing that we have a consistent lack of effort from our offensive line. Maybe we need to improve there. Or, hey, man, we've been trying to struggle to find somebody to go opposite Nick Bosa, and we've been drafted a lot of folks that have not necessarily panned out. Maybe we should just go out and get someone, or, hey, I've noticed that every time we draft a running back, this don't work out. So here's the thought. Don't draft running backs anymore, because it never fucking works out. Like, be that type of owner that's not in the way, but is still including themselves in the conversations to say, hey, I want my team to win, and I really need to get another Lombardi in the case. At one point, the 49ers were literally the only team in the NFL with 5 Super Bowls, and the Cowboys caught up to us. The Steelers caught up to us. The Patriots caught us. And the Patriots have the opportunity now, outside of Pittsburgh, to be the only team in the league that has 7 Super Bowl rings. We technically could have 8, but we've lost the 3 Super Bowls since the Yorks have been in power. And this is what I mean. When you look and you listen and you see what Eddie D did, how he operated, how he moved, the man's literally the reason for the damn salary cap. I shit you not. But when you see all of these things that are going on, you come and say, okay, how can we make it better? What can this current regime do to be great? What can the Yorks do? What can Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch do? Well, first of all, we need to figure out why the hell our team is constantly injured. Year in and year out, we're always in the top 10 of injuries every day. Whether it be a power plant conspiracy theory, whether it be us, going soft on the players, not going hard. I don't know. Whatever the case is, figure it out. The other thing as well with the injury stuff, figure out a better training staff. Don't go get people who do hockey to do football. Shit don't make sense. Y'all got to be better than that. You know what I'm saying? Regular folks like me shouldn't be able to see that and point that out. That's way too damn obvious. Anybody with a brain in their head can figure that out. So it's just understanding that and knowing, okay, we've got to do certain things the right way. And we want specific results. But you have to want those results to the point where it says, I'm going out and doing the things that will provide me those results. Even in, I'll liken it to this. If you are a faith-based human being, you believe in God, you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. When you pray, there's prayer and action. You don't pray and then just sit on your hands. You don't pray that you're going to get a job and then just sit there and magically somebody's going to call you and wait, and say, hey, I got a message from Jesus. He said to hire you. Here you go. No. You pray and you know what you do. You go out and you apply. And then God will bless you with the job that he deems necessary for you to be able to get into. That's just how that works. So oddly enough, you know what I mean? I need the 49ers to take a different approach. I need the Yorks to start getting involved and stop staying in the background and just sucking up cash. Because right now it looks to me like the Yorks care about money. They care about keeping hope alive and keeping asses in seats and keeping money rolling in from merch purchased by us as Niner fans. And to be honest with you, if this team goes through another year where we don't win the Super Bowl and you extend the coach, I'm going to look at it and go, okay, so we're just, once again, since Kyle and John have been here, we are getting comfortable with being second place. We're comfortable with just being contenders. And I don't want to be the Cowboys. I don't want to be comfortable with contending. I don't want to be all these other teams in the league. And I don't want to continue to hear that crybaby excuse of it's hard to win a Super Bowl. At the end of the damn day, that's your only job. That is your whole point to your season. So while, yes, it is hard, I'm not stating that it isn't. After 9 years and 2 Super Bowl losses, I would think at some point you'd figured out something to be able to make it happen. You got to get over the hump. So for me personally, while I understand everybody has their opinions, that is fantastic. That's great. Do what you got to do. But this edition of Raheem Morris is fantastic for us. I think it's great that we're going to a 3-4 defense. I love it. I love even running that 5-2 front a little bit. Puts more pressure on the quarterback. We get the right hogs in there. Somebody gets home. You know what I mean? And then once again, he will make our DBs better. And there will be way more interceptions than there were last year. Because I believe we were almost dead last in the league in interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even think we tapped the double digits in interceptions. I'm going to take a look really quick and let y'all know, because that is one place that we did struggle. We definitely struggled when it came down to it. Give me just a second and I'll let you guys know. Let me get out of the postseason and go regular season. And one more interceptions. Boom, second column. Yeah, we only had 6 interceptions this year, people. 6 of them. We had 1 from D. Winters, 2 from Jair Brown, 1 from Malik Mustafa, and 2 from Demo. 6 interceptions as a defense on the year is atrocious. We should never be that bad, especially not in INTs. To not even tap double digits, that is bad. That tells you we had a lot of issues, and it tells you that our injury thing was for real, for real. But at the end of the day, man, Raheem Morris is here. We got a new defense. Let's start finding the pieces to the puzzle to make this defense work and make it great, and continue to be blessed, continue to, stay up. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple. We just got to take our time with it and, see what we got to look forward to in 2026, 2027 season. And hopefully it's a Lombardi coming to the case. If not, for me personally, I know a lot of fans hate when I say this. Bye, Kyle. Time to move on, man. We have to move in a new direction. You can't just consistently keep doing it. You know what I mean? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm sorry. I'm not getting the same result. I've gotten the same result. and it's getting a little insane. So, hey, stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed. You know what I'm saying? Continue to keep God in your life. When you have God and Jesus in your life, nothing can stop you, and you're never alone. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. Go ahead and take a look at Wayne Breezy. He is on right now. He jumped on YouTube. His stream just started. So shoot over to the Wayne Breezy Network and check out his stuff. He's got awesome content as well. Continue to check out my guys from the Hive, and also check out Nothing But Niners, my boy Mike. Other than that, continue to watch us, Forever Faith Podcast, 49er Media, and all of the other 49er content creators. My boy Keeping Faith. Nothing but love to you. He's always out there doing great content, has great call-in shows. But thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. And stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed. Go Niners.